So, one of the really cool and I think underlooked things that you can do when creating games, 3D games using an AI workflow, is actually the ease at which it can help you to create blended animations. So, for example, here we have a character with a walking animation, right? So she's walking and she plays her walking animation forward, back, left, right, strafe. She's in got a run state. What I've also got here is a lightning spell cast animation. And if you look at this animation, it actually plants her feet on the ground in an idle stance, which is good because sometimes she might be standing still. However, she might also move, right? I might want this character to move, right? And as you can see, if she does move, we've got the upper body playing the casting animation, and then the lower body plays the blended walking animation. Now, in order to do this in an engine like Unreal or something like that, this is an extremely cumbersome process. It takes a long time, and you really have to know what you're doing to create nice blended animations. But if you're using an AI workflow and you've got a coding agent, you can just ask it to do this for you. You can say, okay, take the animation of the walking cycle for the lower body, and if the player is casting a spell at the same time as they're moving, play the upper body with the casting animation and play the lower body with the walking animation or the strafing animation or the walk backwards animation. Like there's so many states here that your coding agent can actually handle for you. And I just think that's such a nice way to make animation blends so much less cumbersome to develop and work on. In this case, I've actually got the coding agent to handle little details, like little beautiful little details. Like if I move a little bit, the head follows that little bit of movement past a certain point. Well, then the torso starts to turn, right? And these are not specific animations for these events. These are just the bones being rotated when it makes sense to do so. And at a certain point, it also triggers the little pivot, like the little bit of feet movement, so it doesn't look like the character's just sliding along the ground. So some really nice things you can do with AI workflows, coding workflows. This is all handled by your coding agent. And of course, you just provide it some source animation. Now, to create the characters that you saw in this game, actually, I entirely used the 3D Studio from the Sorcerer's Game Creation Suite, and here we have the Sorcerer's character. So using the 3D Studio, you can actually take any reference image and then convert that into a 3D model. So here's our Sorcerer's character right here. And in the 3D Studio, you actually have access to all the best 3D model generators that are available right now, Tripo and Meshi, Hanwan, etc. Rigging your character is also really easy. You can do a fully automated AI assisted auto rig, single click, one click, and you're done. You can also use a totally free semi automatic rigging system where all you have to do is place a few markers, like I'm doing right now, on the guided points. Follow the little guide on the left. And actually, you can also even toggle on jiggly physics by adding one more additional bone there. Build the skeleton, take a little tweak, actually adjust those slightly, and from here you can automatically compute the weights on your character. Weight painting is handled automatically, and then using the AI text to animation workflow, I have access to HiMotion and Komodo Soma to simply type out the type of animation that I want to generate. And here we have the one-arm spell cast that we were looking at before in the game. This time it's on a different character. Actually, it's the same character, but I've applied different clothing to her. And here's that little pivot left and right animation that was utilized to create the turning of the character. And here we have the character stroll animation. Now I need to adjust the weight paints on this a little bit and fix up how that gown is falling. Clothing can be like that sometimes, but that's what the Refine tab is for. What I do is select a bone that I want to change the weights for, switch to paint, and then paint out the parts that may not have gotten covered with the auto rig process. And now we have the front cloth no longer bending weirdly as the character walks. It does still clip into the character, but hey, that's clothing for you in game design, unless we're going to add clothing physics, which is not currently supported feature, but could be done. From here, we can of course enable our optional jiggle physics and choose our level of jiggle. I'm going to go with Very Jig. Drive mode lets us take a look at how the character is going to work with our various blended animations. Please forgive my FPS. I'm currently cooking my system. And then from here, we can do something like export our character into a Three.js package. We can export individual animations. We can even grab an animation bundle ID and head on over into Wizard Genie. This is the AI coding engine. It's integrated with models like Codex subscription, Cloud Code subscription. You can BYOK. Any of the additional like top tier models are available, open source models, Olama, OpenRouter, etc. It's integrated with a lot of different model options. And I can actually even copy and paste that job ID into Wizard Genie, and I can ask it to use the Sorceress API to download that batch of animations and set up my character. This is a look at the Sorceress Game Creation Suite and Wizard Genie game engine. You can actually hop on over and test everything for free. Hop on over to Wizard Genie, try to create your first game right now. It's totally free to try.